Thank you all so much for joining us for another week of our journey interviews. I am, of course, Aniqua Acree, the founder and executive director of Journey to Self Inc. And for this episode of season 2 of our journey interviews, we have the absolute privilege of discussing self-love with our goddess, Shauna. Peace, Shauna.
Please. Thank you. Thank you
Sis.
for having me.
Yes, no, thank you so much for your time. Before we dive deep into our conversation, can you introduce yourself a little bit and share just who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So my name is Shauna, but to you all, you can just call me your local goddess. Um, so if I had to sum up what I do, I think that is an ever-changing thing. I'm an owner of Nu Ascension Healing and Restorative. But also, I feel like I'm just a healer and I'm a woman's woman. I feel like if I had to sum up who I am here for the goddesses. That is my purpose. So
Facts.
I'm your local goddess.
I love everything about it, and there was straight facts too. So, I have this personal belief, right, that when you come across someone who is truly valuing their self, you will know it just off their presence, their energy. And I've always admired that about you, the actual time that you invest in yourself and the love that you invest in yourself.
Thank you.
So, can you share with us exactly what self love looks like to you?
Yeah. So self-love to me looks like healing. First and foremost, you have to overcome a thing, right? To be able to love yourself fully. And so self-love is me healing, me dealing with the ugly parts of myself, right? Calling myself out on my shit so that I
Right.
can be a better me. Can I say shit? Okay.
Yes, you
So
can.
me calling myself out, me holding myself accountable, and then being gentle with myself, forgiving myself, giving myself grace and pouring into me. And so that could look like me having spa days. That can look like me just saying, you know what, I'm gonna, by myself sat in pajamas and sleep in satin pajamas,
Right.
whatever makes you feel good. And not in a way that you're detrimental to anyone else, but being selfish about the love that you give yourself, looking in the mirror and being like, you know what, I'm I'm the fucking I'm it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So that
Yes.
is what it looks like to me. Just being fully authentic with myself and just pouring into myself in an authentic way.
Right. And see, so prior to me meeting you, I was, of course, on this self-healing journey, which I'm still on, by the way, right? Because it's continuous, but I was so focused on just trying to understand and accept all the things I had previously experienced.
Right.
And so when I met you, and as I just started to engage with you and honestly see you, right, I started to realize, dang, sis, like, you are slick neglecting yourself like in the present moment. Like, of course, healing is important, understanding your foundations, the things you've experienced, but also paying attention to yourself right now, being present
Absolutely.
in the like current moment is just as important, if not more important, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, does promoting self love to others come naturally to you?
I think it does. Just to mirror back what you said, so if you see your sister, and I don't mean that literally, but if you see another representation of yourself, because that's what we all are, right? We're all a mirror.
Mhm.
So if you see that and you see someone, for example, I like to always dress up and do myself up, and I don't care where I'm going. You know what I
Right.
mean? But that also I know can be very encouraging to others. Like, show up for yourself. And so because of that, I think just by doing small things like that, that helps other people. That
Okay.
helps motivate them to be like, hey, I could do that too. Or when I'm around her, she's like this, I'm gonna do that too.
Right.
Do it. Do
Yes.
it. Because sometimes we have to see that modeled out to actually be able to do it.
That's true. I definitely think your energy and, like you said, the way that you carry yourself and love on yourself, it automatically just raises the frequency and the vibration of anybody that comes in contact with you.
Thank
And
you.
I've experienced that even outside of myself, like seeing you engage with others. I'm like, yeah, love it.
I love
So,
that. Thank you.
right. As the
Thank you for that.
co-owner of a holistic wellness business
Yeah.
and with your overall knowledge of health and wellness, are you aware of maybe any herbs or supplements that someone can take that will help them actually start to achieve some of their self-love, self-care goals?
Yeah. So a lot of times we equate self-love and self-care with relaxation, right?
Mhm.
So it
Yes.
just depends on what your goal is because sometimes you don't need to relax. You need a little bit of pep in your step. So it
Right.
can, it can go either way. So if I were to say, the biggest thing I think that as a person that is really trying to pour into themselves, you need to
Mhm.
really balance your hormones, right? And balance your emotions because a lot of times our emotions trigger how we love ourselves. And so, you're angry and the anger triggers you like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So a really good everyday herb that you can take in the form of a supplement would be St. John's wort. Um,
Mm.
you can get it anywhere as with anything, you want to verify the validity of it. Are the capsules vegan and things like that? I know people don't tend to look at that, but that's important because you want to make sure that the capsule dissolves. So
Oh,
that's why.
yes.
Teas are great, but remember when you take things like teas, you have to drink a certain amount for to actually, the feel the effect of it. The
Right,
St. John's
right.
wort is my number one because it does create balance. You can take it every day. And guess what though? It'll help you lose a little water weight. I mean, it's a
Okay.
little 2 in 1.
All right. I make sure I take me some after art.
So St. John's wort, another really good one, would be another few good ones would be lemon balm or passion flower or valerian root, contingent upon if you've got a little bit anxiety, because certain emotions can create certain anxiety so that you may not feel motivated to do something for
Right.
yourself or love on
Mm.
yourself. And these kind of put you in a state of calm, where you can kind of sit in that moment, but not fall asleep, kind of calm. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It does. I actually need to share some of these like with my sister because we were talking last night just about different things we can do to get our energy up because like
Yeah,
you said that mental health and loving and caring on yourself go hand in hand, right?
absolutely. And
Yeah,
the
so
best
thank you
one
so
is
much,
sun.
right, for
Yeah, it's giving
sharing that.
the sun to
And
you.
since we're talking about mental health, right? Um, we said it has a lot to do with just how we show up for ourselves, how we pour into ourselves. So, on a more personal note, what are some ways that you conquer any mental health battles, especially from a place of self love?
Absolutely. One thing I do is if I'm feeling any type of emotions that go against my natural self or how I know I need to be feeling, so one thing I do is self-assess. I ask myself, like, listen, sis, what are you feeling? What are you feel?
Right.
Why are you feeling this? Are you just choosing to be sad right now? Like, is this a choice? Because sometimes it is a choice. Like, this
Yeah.
happened. No, ma'am, you have moved on. So I self-assess first, and then I usually find an outlet, right? So an
Right.
outlet can look like me doing Pilates. I'm really into
Mhm.
Pilates. It could look like me going out walking, doing something like that. I usually like to get moving. You know what I mean? When it comes to
Exactly.
that mental health component of self-love, I'm going to move first because your body needs to release those endorphins. Your
Right.
body needs to release dopamine, which is a happy chemical. So that would
Right.
be my biggest recommendation is to get moving. Even if you
Oh,
marching in
yeah.
place, move.
Right. I definitely received that. I'm so happy we're having this conversation because something that I noticed on my personal journey is when any aspect of my health is off, so are the others. So if I'm not feeling that great mentally, then emotionally, I'm unstable. I'm all over the place. Physically, I'm eating bad things and
Yes.
not moving. It's
Yeah.
all truly connected.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to balance and pour into each of those brackets.
Absolutely.
Right. And then I know I recently shared with you some discomforts I was feeling as it related to like just my gut. I was feeling heavy, I was feeling bloated, a little crampy, and then in like addition to that, right, I was also having all of these childhood memories, early adulthood memories flow in. And so I'm like, Shauna, I just feel terrible. It's like I'm purging. And you were able to connect what I was experiencing to like my lower chakras.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit more about how like gut health also relates or coincides with chakras and mental health?
Absolutely. Yeah. So remember, your gut is your second brain or first brain, contingent upon who you ask. That's
Right.
why you hear people say, I felt that in my gut. Or when
Right.
something happens, you feel the emotional part
Yeah.
where in your center, in your gut, right?
Yeah.
When your gut is off balance, that's going to trigger so many things, right? So let's first start with the eating, because you're going to be
Yep.
most of the time you may not be sleeping if you're feeling off balance and the gut is off balance. So then
Yeah.
we're going to be you're going to be, you're going to have a glucose craving or sugar craving, as people say, and then what you're going to eat sugar because that feeds
Yeah.
that gut and that unhealthy bacteria in your gut.
Mm,
It's like, give me more of that. This is going to make us feel better. And all you're doing is
right.
pushing yourself further, further
Yep.
into it. And when we bring in the chakras part, so if you think about, I know people have heard this a million times, but if you think about all fast food restaurants, the logos are all the colors of the lower chakras, right? That
Right.
is by design, okay?
Mm,
Because that is what you're feeding. You're feeding your gut because most of that food has no nutritional value. And so
exactly.
it's feeding those parasites, those unhealthy emotions, and it's craving it because when we're younger, we are so contingent upon what your belief system is or your knowledge system
Right.
is. We go through the chakra phases according to ages, and we start at the
Okay.
root chakra from birth and kind of move up from there until we to age 21 where we reach the heart chakra. And that is because if you think about a baby or a toddler, they are solely off emotion.
Right.
And
Oh,
that is
yes,
what
they
those
are.
lower chakras are. Those are emotions. I want, give me. I'm going to act this way. I'm going to say this way. And
Yeah.
not to say that we can't be in that way as adults, but that is not who we should be. As
Right.
adults, we should be in
Exactly.
control of our emotions because our emotions, how we control our emotions are a direct effect of how we are mentally.
Right. So
Yeah. So
true. So true.
so it
Oh,
all goes together. So I think I made the analogy to you that you'll notice all of the, those colors also mean stop and caution because it is to slow you
exactly.
down. What are you
Exactly.
doing? What are you feeling here?
Wow. See, you know what? I am enjoying this conversation so much. And I feel like it's right on time because so many people right now, especially whenever I hop on social media, they're in pursuit of achieving self-love. They're like, okay, everybody keeps talking about me learning how to do this concept, right? Or me achieving this goal, but they're not really saying how I can get there. And so I feel like this series or this season of the Journey interviews is doing that. It's providing some of these techniques. So, Shauna, what is your advice to a viewer right now who may be feeling a lack of love in their life?
Yeah. So if you're feeling a lack of love, you never want to look outside yourself, right? Because
Mhm.
nothing or no one is going to love you like you. Okay.
So true.
Period. Not your kids, not your mama, well, oh, your daddy, whomever. While their love is wonderful, real love comes within. And you got to
Yeah.
get off of social media because it is
Yeah.
not fair. The only thing that's going to do is lower your love box for yourself. You know what I mean? If you had a
Right.
love cup for yourself, it's going to bring it down because eventually you're comparing. Get off
Yeah.
of that. Turn off the TV, turn off of that, and sit with yourself. What can you do for yourself now? Take a small step. Maybe you say today, you know what, today I'm going to, do something out of that I don't normally do. Today I'm going to take
Right.
myself on a date. I'm gonna go sit at a restaurant, I'm gonna have me lunch, and I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm
Yep.
gonna read my book, you know what I mean? Or you know what? I've been wanting to look, try this look. I'm gonna go buy myself an outfit. Whatever you need to do, do it. And no step is too small.
So
No
true.
step is too small. But at the root of it, it doesn't excuse the work. You got
Exactly.
to do the work, but that comes, right? But at the root of it, start with something small. Maybe I'm going to get a massage today. I've never had one. Let me try that.
Yes.
That's something for you, but you have to be able to tune out everything else and you have to be
So
okay with
important.
it. You
So
have to
important.
be okay with it.
And I also noticed too, so prior to me being more committed and aware of the fact that I needed to love on myself, I needed to pour into myself a little bit more, I noticed that my relationships around me, whether it was moments in my marriage or even like my friendships or my interactions with coworkers, like if I wasn't loving myself, all of those relationships were shitty, right? It's
Mhm.
like, and then the moment that I stepped away, I isolated myself. I did that self assessment that you mentioned, and I slowly started to be comfortable being alone, be
Yeah.
comfortable being my own source of love, right? I was able to see all of the relationships around me benefit and improve. And the ones that didn't, I knew, okay, they were no longer, going to be
Mhm.
a part of this journey for me, at least in this moment and in this space.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it also, like being able to love yourself will also affect, those around you and your relationships with others.
Absolutely. It's a
So,
mirror. It's a mirror.
right,
People
definitely.
mirror your outer world mirrors your inner world. So
So
no
true.
matter, we can't even skip it no matter how we want to. When you have issues with relationships or people, it's always you. And that's a
Exactly.
hard truth.
So
It's
true.
always
So
you.
true. Oh
And
my
can I add
gosh.
one more tip, Aniqua?
Yes,
I
please.
think if I had to also add one more tip, I'm thinking about some of the things I went through, in my path and in my journey. Another thing I did was I would take sticky notes and write myself things I liked about myself. You will be
Mm.
surprised how hard that could be. Because initially I was writing things like, "Oh, you're a nice person," or "No, ma'am."
Yeah.
Write things you really like about yourself, and think
Mhm.
about how you talk to yourself. Our body is a living organism. So when we're
Yes,
like, "Oh, I look too big," or "I look too," no, you better embrace that part of you and talk to that part. If you don't like it, change it, but embrace it while
exactly.
you got it.
Yes. Oh, see, so that's a challenge right now for
Mhm.
everybody who is viewing. When you guys finish, do that. Do that exercise. Sit with
Yes.
yourself, get you a sticky note, anything that pen, paper, whatever, and sit with yourself and write what it is that you love about yourself, what it is that you enjoy and like about yourself. I love it. I'm going to do it too. So, Shauna, it's always a privilege being able to share space with you. But before we leave this interview, you have to share with us how we can engage with you more and also order some products from Nu Ascension.
Absolutely. So you can definitely find me on social media platforms, Instagram, Your Local Goddess, or you can find my business, Nu Ascension, and that's www.nuascension.com, or you can just Google it. And of course, it'll come up and it's in You Ascension.
Yes, and you already know I am definitely going to tag it everywhere that I drop this interview, which is, of course, our YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram. I think on my personal TikTok, I'm even going to do like some snippets. So
Thank you.
I'll also tag Nu Ascension TikTok account too.
Thank you.
Yes. And so thank you again, Shauna, for sharing your expertise with us. I want to also thank everyone who has engaged with us so far during this season. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and even comment on this interview. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you have any questions. And most importantly, join me again next week for another brand new episode. Thanks so much and peace, y'all.